I mean, every entrepreneur is supposed to solve a problem, right? My first job was with PwC.
Let's talk about scaling, how it is, because I think just this journey is important for a product to grow.
By then, Bolt was quite new. It had very few people, and it was really starting up in Tanzania, so no one really knew about it. Building an app, or if you're building any business whatsoever, it's about the people you're building it for.
How long did you take to ideate and research like your idea is actually needed, and what the process do you use to do that? Remy, welcome to Be Agile. This is Be Agile. Welcome everyone. And today I'm joined with my good friend Remmy Eseka. Remy, welcome to the show. This is Be Agile, where we talk with entrepreneurs and technology founders in Africa, sharing experience and working and building products from the start to scaling, dealing with development team, dealing with every other landscape that an African founder goes through. So welcome to the show, and it's a pleasure hosting you. You mind introducing yourself for those who do not know much about Remy?
And thank you very much, Grayson. And I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be part of the show. And well, I'm Remy. For those who are in Tanzania, the name Remy is quite popular, especially from the right-hand space. I'm a family guy, so I have two kids. I love them, my daughters and whatnot. I'm one of the founders of Chapaa, and we're trying to create a space whereby everyone in Africa will be able to digitize, or rather use different tools to facilitate the way they live, their cultural aspect of things. So that's in a nutshell who I am. I love hiking. I was able to summit the Kilimanjaro at some point. So that's me in a nutshell.
Nice. I think you forgot something, a bit of you. Like, I know Remy from a little bit a while back, and Remy is famous from the Remy from Bolt, from the emails and everything.
I was trying to stay away from saying Bolt, but yeah.
No, it will just come out with Remy, all right? Remy, you have a background in finance or accounting. I'm not sure, but I know you started working with PwC as an auditor and everything. So you to get into lending, into being a technology entrepreneur, to working with Bolt and everything. So I think you forgot that bit. And like, how, I'm just curious, how did it turn from being a financial auditor to running a technology solution like Bolt? Now you're doing Chapaa. How, like, just that shift? Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I mean, that was a long time. I tend to think it's a long time ago. I tend to forget about it. But yeah, my career really started. I'm an accountant by professional. I did my main bachelor's from University of Dar es Salaam. I did my ACCA. My first job was with PwC, which I loved it, by the way, because again, it built me in terms of how you look at numbers, how you get things done, even under pressure. So those are things that I got from PwC. Worked there for like 3.5 years, which I did I worked across all industries, be it FMGCs, fast moving consumer goods, be it non-for-profit, so all that. And then now my desire has always been to see the impact, right? So whatever I do, I'm just trying to look at the impact in terms of, is this really impacting people? So financials usually give a comfort of the undergoing of a business to shareholders. So it's pretty much an impact of what the company is doing. So that's how I ended up actually in PwC. So I did that, and then I was like, okay, fine, it makes sense. I did banks. Now let me go to non-for-profit, where again, there's a direct impact, right? So a funded donor will send funds, and then they're supposed to help people, for a certain cause. So I did that for I think 1.5 years, my last year. And then I was like, okay, I need to do something more. Something that will touch lives financially for people. And then Bolt came in the way. So I went to Bolt, and people are like, because by then Bolt was quite new. It had very few people, and it was really starting up in Tanzania, so no one really knew about it. So it was a risk from my space, but also people around me were really shocked. I told my parents about it. They were like, okay, so is this a good company? And I wasn't really sure by then. It is an amazing company. I came with it to Tanzania, launching the product, getting to get drivers. There was a constant message from the CEO by then, which was, get guys happy, make sure the drivers earn. We are here to help them earn. So that again really sold me out to the company. So we did that I did that for like almost 5 years. That really introduced me into the tech space, because Bolt was a young company by then. So there are a lot of moving pieces. I was more of a generalist in that perspective. Do everything, from PR, you do the finance bit approvals, you do the procurement bit, you do the operations bit. When issues with the app, you are the one to report it, demonstrate, speak to the tech guys. And that's where I started understanding some of the lingos, which builds up to that. And then again, most importantly, the importance of using data for any company, not just the finance bit, but data in terms of how you operate a company and the different ways of looking at it. So with that exposure to Bolt, with exposure to different wonderful people out there, I was able now to think like, oh, it's something that we can actually do. So after 5 years, the thought was like, can't we do something else in terms of having an impact to people? We're like, okay, fine, let's try to, what are people doing? Because every entrepreneur is supposed to solve a problem, right? What are problems that we're having? We're like, okay, let's see, people, finance space, financial inclusion isn't really that big. So discussions here and there, and we're like, oh yeah, I think that should be the space where we should venture into. But again, what exactly the financial space? Narrowed it down, and we're like, we should, people, most Tanzanians don't really save. It's a culture, but people don't really save. Not just Tanzanians, it's a global issue. People don't really save, especially the working. So we were like, why don't we start from there? Let's build something from there. Now, this is a big thing, right? So you think of a problem, you think, well, we have a big solution, we're going to solve that solution. And then you go to the market, right? And then start having people, what do you think about this? Well, like, yeah, but I think my money is safer in a bank, which is good again, by the way. And then, yeah, but I think I would rather just have it in one place, right? And then we had already built a prototype because we are so excited and super hyped about that. And of course, we had a certain niche that was really impressed about it. But again, we realized that more than that, we are more focused on which this is also most innovations in Africa have been able to do. It's focus on the payment bit, right? So you're digitizing the payment. But there's another aspect to it, like people are making payments for a certain reason, right? So the likes of big players, M-Pesa, right? Mobile money, wallets, Tigo Pesa. It's easy to send money. So I'll send money to Grayson, to anybody, which is good. And cohesion with the bank, which kind of, bank kind of keep the trust account for them and whatnot. So they kind of blend in together. But what they're solving is just, sending money. But why are people, can we help them on the why bit? Right? So that's where now it expounded. All right, we're helping them. They want to save money, so let's put their savings. But is there any other thing that we can help them on? And that's where we came to the crowd funds. In Tanzania, almost 67%, right, of people with money have actually got financial assistance from friends and family. So if you look at it in itself, it's actually a big thing. So that's where the pivoting of the app came. Not really pivoting, but rather, we need to look at it from a different perspective. With all these in mind, that's how I came into tech space and trying to solve that particular problem.
Awesome, Remy. Thank you. That is a proper walkthrough. I have a follow-up question to that, and I think you touched a bit on that. Did it start Chapaa, by the way? As you answer this, I would like you to give me a little bit behind the name, Chapaa. But did it always start as a crowdfunding sourcing to help people give purpose to their money, the big why to them serving? Did it always start that way? How did it start? And what caused that pivot? Maybe you can just touch that a little bit, because in our space, most people could be attached with the original idea, working on a solution and not looking at how the space is changing, or willing, or even worrying about the pivot that you're talking about. So enlighten us a little bit on that.
So Chapaa is a Swahili slang for money, right? So it's everything. If I look for a professional word for it in English, that would be finance, right? Not money per se, but trying to lean in finance. So that's where the name came from. And I mean, the logo has a wallet, so it's a
All
wallet
right.
thing around that. And the importance of pivoting, it never really crossed my mind what pivoting was, or rather. But again, and this is, I think it's something that most founders do. You are so in love with your product to the point you forget solving the problem. And that's where you get stuck to your original idea. So with Chapaa, and I'm not saying we brushed it off. We have savings is still in the app. People can actually do their savings. I mean, if you have multiple savings plans, you can already do them with the app, within the app. And I mean, people are happy about it. It helps them save with all that, with the visibility that you get via the app. But now, if we're stuck to that, we'll right now say we are done. Chapaa is closed, right? So we're like, it's what we're solving, but is this really the why, the bigger why, right? Like I said, people really want to save, but saving is really a problem generally as a culture. So having a solution to something that is almost non-existent it's a long shot, because you still need, first of all, to build the culture. People need to have a culture of saving for you to give them a savings product. So the savings aspect serves the people who are already in that saving space and really know their financials in terms, they have budgets and whatnot. But again, what was quite big is that people dependent to other people in terms of their financial needs, marriages, weddings. I mean, sorry, weddings, not marriages, they're two different things. So weddings, the ceremony bit, again, funerals, people tend to contribute quite a lot. And not just that, different things, baby showers, all those, people saving up for a cause. So we're like, let's not just fixate our idea onto savings, but rather look at the different things and different ways to solve the different problems in the financial space, solving the why people actually do send money. Right. So that's how we now transitioned from just, focusing on just savings, a product that we thought was our it product, but again, moving to different product that serves a bigger market and solves a bigger problem. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Speaking of pivot, and I just want to take you back a little bit to your old job, if I'm to say. It was not an actual pivot, but I think probably a riskier move than pivoting, maybe. Changing a brand name and brand identity and everything. And so I'll be twisting and turning between these Chapaa, because Chapaa and your from experience of Bolt. I remember, was it 2017, from Taxify, which I love the name, to Bolt. It was like that shift and that change. How did it come to you being within the organization, and what can African founders and tech entrepreneurs just learn from that risk? Because for me, I think maybe, I don't know, you can tell me the reason behind it, because you were from the inside. But I think one way or another, I think it elevated the brand, and it was more, I don't know, bold or something. You could put it like, just from pivoting and brand changing, I can see a relation in that. And maybe you learned a risk in one or two because you're being in that process. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you see, your brand needs to talk about you and what you do, right? And I also love the name Taxify, I love it to the heart. But again, we're a growing company. So when you hear Taxify, you're fixated to taxis, right? But we're growing. It was a company that was growing, right? I remember going to this says we need to brand, we need to have an identity that really speaks true to who we are. All right. And so that's how the process started, looking for name, it's a whole lot process. But the idea behind is that you need to have a brand that really speaks to who you are and what you do. And that can have an impact in so many ways. So right now, Apple does scooters, it does, deliveries, it does. If you just fixate your name to taxis, it will be difficult for the two, unless if someone is a user or pretty much no. But if someone says Bolt, you're like, okay, so what is this? And then you go check it out and you have all these things that it does, So it kind of opens up room for curiosity and all that, other than just having, a name that fixates you to just one thing, right? And that's, again, that's how we came with the name Chapaa. It's more of now anything finance. It's just money. You send money, how do you do that? So pretty much that's it. But again, if, like I said, changing so that and iterating so that you keep true to what you do with your brand is quite important. And I think that's also one of the lessons I learned from my previous job, whereby you really need to attach the two.
Okay, nice. So probably it is easier doing that decision in a big organization or like an established startup by then as Taxify, because you would have like a brand, people reviewing, you have a process and everything in between to get that done. All right. Now it is you and your co-founders. Decision of pivoting. I know there are some who will be attached to the original ideas, and there are some who will be like, yeah, let's go for it. All right. Like, how do you break that tie? How did you break that tie? Or like how did that change come? Or was it just natural to everyone? Like we need to shift from this original idea to being Chapaa as it is now?
One of the things is when you pick your co-founders, or when you, want to work with someone on different building something, you need to be keen on the people you work with, right? So if at all you're working together not with for the right reasons, you won't really reason for many things, not just the brand name, right? So in our case, we all are in it for a particular reason, which is the same reasons for all of us, just trying to transform and change things. So the best idea wins when it comes to our conversations. We have like, guys, I don't like the green color. I like peach. Why do you like peach? Someone will say, I like red. Again, being founders generalistic, it's pretty much like it's the four of us sitting down, co-founders, speaking, oh, this is how we want it. This is how we want it. Again, okay, guys, let's end up, if it comes to it, let me think. Have we ever ended up to making a vote? I don't really recall us having to say, guys, now we need to vote on this. It's more of a conversation, reasoning, and I think with anticipation, or with thinking at it from an angle that this is what we want and what's best for the brand that we're building. So again, like I said, your co-founders, are key because you're building with them. If it so happens that you're pretty much different in what you think in the vision and you have not aligned to that, then it's going to get you into problems. So you're going to have a lot of, I don't want that. That was their idea, not my idea, instead of that was our idea, regardless of what your initial thought on something was.
Nice, awesome. Let's get back into the beginning of building Chapaa. So I'll just get in the series of questions, but just starting from ideating to now building, and you've launched your beta version with limited seats around for people to test your product. And let's talk about scaling, how it is, because I think just this journey is important for a product to grow. How long did you take to ideate and research on Chapaa to validate your idea is actually needed? And what process do you use to do that?
Well, it's a long journey because again, as many founders, we have different jobs, right? And then we have, oh, this is a good idea, let's work on it. And then how do we now narrow down and start working on it? So it took a toll. We're like, okay, let's do this. How do we think of the concept? We come up with the concept. Do people really need these? You go around doing mini surveys, asking people, we start with our immediate families and what they think about it, and then go expand to different people, different niches, just trying to have a feel, of what the product is. And then from there, come back and say, guys, okay, so this is how we've gathered. I think we should do it this way. I think this is how the flow should be, right? And then you get a designer, this is what we're looking at, give us samples, and we are happy with it. We picked a logo, whatnot. And then, boom, guys, we need to start building this. All right, so should we go all in, build the whole thing? We can't really do this. Should we get a company? Are the resources enough for us to do it? It pops up, a lot of questions. So we're like, okay, what we could do is we could start doing it ourselves. And then later on along, we realized, no, based on what we are currently, this current situation that we were going through at that point in time, we had to outsource, let's get someone else to do it for us and then tell us what it is. That didn't quite go out so well, but then we reiterated, go back, regrouped, build again the app. But again, after doing that, we had to get someone else again, check it out. And this other person happens to just be IPF. All right. So we're like, guys, hey, we did something here. We want you guys to just look at it and let's go through the whole process of, again, we want to just test it, look it end to end. Does it make sense? This is what we want it to do. Is it doing that? Again, I think we've engaged you guys twice or something like that, again, around the same, just trying to see it. Again, like again, from a non-technical founder, I understand what I want, but how do I get there? It's a whole Pandora box in how things needs to move, from a technical perspective. So for me, again, like I said, we had to go through that journey, iterating, external parties, look at it, build the flow, what we anticipate is the flow. And then after that, take it to the users. Some users try it and they give us inputs and then change it. By the time actually launched, I think the soft launch for just few people, I think we have done a lot of iteration based on customer flow. And what this is that, which again might be contrary to what other founders do in terms of scaling, we found that we have actually cemented on the core functionalities. So as now that we've done a soft launch, people are not really worried with the flow. In fact, they're happy with the whole UI UX experience. So they are more or less bringing add-ons. What if we could add this and we could add that? So it's not change this, remove this, So because we did a lot of iteration, having people use it over and over again, and then that pretty much cemented on the product itself. So we are, happy about that from that perspective.
Awesome. Remmy, you have shared a very interesting journey, but I want to take you a little bit back. Kidogo, taratibu turudi. Something about building, because I think from ideation, you just skipped quickly. You said we had some challenges in building, we failed through this, and these are the lessons that I wish you to share with the technology founders and mostly non-technical founders. So first, for context, a question, and this is a yes or no, then you can dive more into that. Do you have a technical founder in your founding team?
Yes.
Nice. We'll get into that. Now, you have a technical founder, you are a non-technical founder in your team. How challenging was it to build your product in Tanzania, in East Africa, generally to be the same? How challenging was it? And tell me about the failures and the lessons you have learned dealing with development firms and developers in the country. I want to hear about that.
Okay, so again, we have a technical founder, which we are lucky to have, and that really helped us a lot, because some conversations where he wasn't around, it would really be very difficult for us to comprehend what they mean, unless otherwise we send him a text. So they say this, right? But again, skill set, right? We have we have talented people in the country that actually can do that, can build products, which is a good thing, right? I'm happy to say Chapaa has been built all the way with TZs, with Tanzanians, all the way mwanzo mpaka mwisho. So we're actually happy about that. Are we going to scale? Yes. Globally, yes, we're going to have everyone in. But again, for now, this is what we built, and it has been built by Tanzanians all the way from scratch. So the perception that we really can't do it, we don't have really good tech people, I don't think so. And again, I'm borrowing it from the feedback in terms of customers, the UI, the UX, which usually what people interact with apart from the backend. They're all happy about it. Someone will just open the app and say, even while taking them through the login process, I love the UI, the UX. I love the experience, So we have people who are talented and are able to do that. Now, the problem is finding them. That's always a challenge. Yeah. So find a well-talented person, but again, do they have the professionalism to deliver? That becomes a problem. All right. So, and again, that's something that I think most people face, and that's why they tend just to outsource, probably out of the country, because everyone runs with their own time, and we really want time. We really want to have control over the timings of what we want to do, right? In most cases. Now, if people don't deliver on time and they're not reliable, it becomes a problem. No matter how good you are, if you're not reliable, it's a problem. So that's the biggest challenge we had. So we had people come and go within the team, and that was a problem. But again, the professionalism is usually the biggest issue. Talent is there. Yeah. So like I said, we worked with IPF, and we're always happy. We'll always come back to you when we have issues, that. And again, it's the professionalism bit, right? So we say, this is what we're looking at. What do you guys think? You gave us your insights. This is how we change this, change this, change that. And we're like, cool. But again, anyone could say that. It's the how you say it, the way you say it, and the timings. Did you do what we asked you to do? Did you do it in a professional manner? Did you deliver it in a professional manner? So that's what's usually the missing piece, right? So journey, we learned that you really need, especially if you're a founder in our type of environment, you really need to work so hard to trim down to get the gold. Yeah, so you need to mine a lot so that you end up having the gold on which you're going to work with.
Yeah, nice, nice. I'm glad you got through it. And maybe just to share, working with you guys from in gates and processes, which I think it was a very smart way to approach it. It's like you had this specific critical area that you identify, like in this area, we need to work with a company. In this area, we'll hire a freelancer or a developer that we can be able to afford to work on. And this, like those gates that you put, I think it's a very important lesson to share. Like, I remember we worked together on the ideation process and just trying to find that value. Then after that, you guys went on into finding a way to get to build it, because for some reasons it was not possible to get that job done at IPF. And
just kidding.
Then I think, boom, I think we stayed for a while. I think was it like 6 months, 8 months, and you say like, guys, we are doing progress, but there's something that we need you to check. Like, is the development process right? We need at least a mentorship and guidance on project management, at least for a time. And I think we worked with Nelson for about 2 months or 3 months just to streamline the process. For me, that was, I think, was just like getting an, like, how would we do it if we get to work with a professional firm to get to build this. Then you later came on another gate you put in place before even launching your beta. It's like, we need this now to be checked, doing a quality assurance audit. And I remember it was an interesting journey going and looking at like, oh, this is the Chapaa that we started from ideating to this becoming at this point. So I think it is still a very, very smart move you made with your team. Now I'm just realizing it now, and like,
Just add up to that. It's an interesting thing in the sense that, again, like I said, stick to your budget. I mean, budgets are not right. One thing is learn to use what you have, right? So if, for example, I have one developer and I want to build a product, right? If they're good enough, they'll build it. But is that the way it's supposed to build? Because I'm a non-technical founder. Let me just talk to non-technical founders here. You know nothing about technology behind it. If someone say tech stack, you're like, I don't know what that is, you know? So again, and these choices might be critical for your scalability. It might be critical for your next partners that you want to partner with. It might be critical for, so if you don't have, I mean, a budget for that, you can outsource for that specific issue, build a foundation. That, hey guys, this is what we're thinking. How best should we do it? Like the same we did with IPF. Like, I mean, it's a great adventure. It's a great journey with you guys. We say, this is what we're thinking. Tap, 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 tap. This is how you should do it. Because again, you're more experienced. You've done this with a lot of startups. And that's the thing. If you want to build a house, get wisdom from bricklayers, not a carpenter. So you go to the right people. You want to build an app, a global app. I mean, get someone who has built an app. Have a conversation with them. And in this case for us was, I mean, IPF, I mean, we know what you guys have done with a lot of products that you guys have done. So we're like, for Tanzania, I mean, well, why don't we speak with IPF? Because we are already here. This is a place where we are. So that's how we started it. Ideation, we were like, cool, we already have an idea. Let's go build something. So you're kind of like, I would say, a lecturer or teachers, whereby you give us assignment, we go do and bring it back to you guys. But again, that whole process really helps. So we segmented it. And again, we did it well within our budget, which was quite important. And again, we also got the value out of it based on the segments that we did. And that's how we landed here.
Awesome. And like to date, I think it was an amazing process to go through. Remy, I think you probably consider yourself non-technical person. Of course, you worked with a technology company, a big one like Bolt, and you picked one or two. Something that I wish you to share now here is how important is it for non-technical founder to educate themselves about technology, even if at the foundation level? Because I can tell, I can have conversation with you, with other people, like, and they won't even know, like, you are not a technology person. How important has it been for you, beside having a technical founder in your team? How important has it been for you to get to educate yourself, to be familiar with the technology and everything in the space?
Well, it was a journey for all the non-technical founders, right? So right
Mm.
now, I could fool people, but there's part of the also other co-founders you'll think they're technical people to the dollar, right? It's because
Yeah.
we invest much time to to study a lot to understand these things, especially on the basics. So, like I said, we are pretty lucky to have a technical co-founder, which we kind of tend to go to questions. So I will wake up with an idea, say, okay, I'm thinking about security of our data. I've read something about blockchain. So what does it do? Right. So he tells me, oh, Remy, it does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is how you might want to go around it. And then I go back and read. And then when I come back to him, I say, so this is what I've come up with, and how does it work? So he kind of explains, which again, like I said, we're lucky to have that. But again, there are all resources out there, YouTube's, go there, read, because it's going to help you also sometimes to make decisions. It's going to help you in conversations you're having with different people. It's going to help you, with conversation you're going to have with your potential partners and investors, that you at least understand the basics or the underlying foundations of what you guys are building and how you're building it. So it's very important. It takes time, I know, but it's a must time. You have to invest in it. I'm not saying be a tech guy, but just know what they say.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, something.
Nice. So you've gone through ideation, you've gone through whatever challenges that you've gone through. Now you have a product, like you have something that you've tested. The steps that you took right now, you say you've done a beta or soft launch. Yeah. And I think you shared about, it's just about collecting feedback from people. How important or how critical is that step?
Like I said, you might build something and you think it's all done, but when you give it to people who are going to be their users, if they want to use it, they need to have certain things, and that's how it works, right? So that's why we did a better version and deployed it like that, just to test the water. Yeah. Right. If you are building an app, or if you're building any business whatsoever, it's about the people you're building it for. So, and if you get into that space, it will remove you from a space whereby you're just in love with your own product, right? You might be in love with just one product, but that's not what people really want. What people want is more than that. So again, feedback kind of helps. And something very interesting. So what people would do, let's say 2 weeks ago with Chapaa, was just collect funds. You could manually put pledges, and then, so if I'm having a wedding, I will send a link to people, which they click the link, they just contribute whatever amount they have. But we didn't have the pledges feature on that, right? So pledges, I will be the one to pledge. I will ask you, Grayson, how much are you giving me? 10 million. So I'll put 10 million on the app and to get all that data. But again, one of the quick feedbacks we got was like, Remy, I want people to just pledge, and then later on I'll do the follow-up. And this wasn't really like a tough thing from the back end to developers to develop. We actually had it, but we're just thinking like maybe something that people would want. Again, from that feedback, we rolled it out and people are happy about it. So the users now get what they wanted. We thought it wasn't really important, but right now it is important because users actually asked for it and want it. So once we change that, they're all happy. People are already using it for their weddings and whatnot. So like I said, baby showers where they don't play, some pledge, some pledge. So bringing up that feature, it comes out from the feedback that we got.
Okay, awesome. That's great. So I believe after that, you're going to proceed with building another version and everything. I'm already using Chapaa, and it's amazing. And I think something that you mentioned there, people hesitating to deploy their so-called beta version, whatever, as an MVP, your minimum viable product, launch it out there. And sometimes you might be surprised with your initial backlog or your initial vision, and people just going to pull in more important and more urgent features that they see it is important. And since you're building for the users, you said you might as well just try to ignore your backlog for a minute and focusing on what's need and be building on top of that. So that is really important. And thank you for sharing that, Remy. I need you to share an insight on your experience. You worked with Bolt for 4 years, from just running operation to becoming a country lead, to becoming a lead of two countries, I believe Uganda and Tanzania. Now, with all respect, with our processes of development and everything in running operations and technology team, I believe there's a great value. The founders in the country and East Africa in general can be able to learn one or two from an established organization like Bolt. Would you mind sharing, and like, if it's three things, say, like, from building a technology product you have learned from Bolt to building Chapaa? What are the three things that you've moved with and that you wish other people to be able to learn from that?
Okay, so one of the things will be speed, right?
Speed.
Speed in terms of, so when you're a startup, you're generally, in most cases, you'll be a generalist, right? And again, speed and precision, I think I'll combine them as one thing. That you see a chance, you have a product and users want something, and then it's not a good to have, but a must have. How quickly do you change to that? So that's something I really got from Bolt. We have something, this is what drivers want. How quick can we have it? Let's put it in terms of priority. So which one is a must have, which one is a good to have, right? And then, so this is a must have, we need to change it for 1, 2, 3 reasons. We go with that, run with it. That's one. And that's why, like I said, we did the pilot phase, just trying to see what people want, just gauge that from them. But again, you need to have the right team. That's what I got from Bolt. I mean, if you have the right teams, you can scale quite fast. Yeah, you can scale quite fast, but also it will not I want to say less stressful, but there's always stress when running a startup. But I mean, less than when you have the wrong team, right? I think that's quite important. And the last thing is just do it. Right. So we were the first ones to start the border rights in the country, right? So we were having a conversation. Someone's like, why don't we just do borders? I'm like, guys, borders, it don't want to make sense. A lot of excuses as usual, right? Everyone has excuses. And these guys just look at me and say, Remy, just do it. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but just do it. So that's how we did it. Okay, let's do it. So how will we do it now? Right. So you're moving from why should we not do it because of the excuses? So we are now doing it. So how do we make it work? Again, with the right team, the proper speed, we're able to roll it out quite fast. We went three-wheelers, of which most people were like, no, three-wheelers is a different beast. But again, we rolled three-wheelers. And then now you see Bajajes. And now you see, because we were fast in doing them, doing what people really wanted, all the other players now in the market started doing the same thing. But again, if you ask someone like right now in Tanzania or in Dar es Salaam, like when you're thinking of ride hailing for borders, Bolt comes in the head. Because again, we were the first to do it. We started it and we're more efficient. The way we did it was also remarkable. The way we rolled it out. Elements, Dar es Salaam is all green, how we did it. But again, something that I think it's a misconception rather, or I'll say it's a different perspective. What I have is that as founders, it's not bad to start your career somewhere else. People have a mindset that I'll just start with what I have. I mean, some have been successful, like Grayson. I mean, from school, you did your thing and it worked quite well. Well, from a guy like for my case is different. I had to go through PwC, go through Bolt to where I am right now. And again, my experience through these two spaces have really built up to who I am right now. So if I look at something, if I look at data, you just won't throw data to me and I will be, oh, that's good. From my PwC audit mind will question the integrity of data. Right? How do we know that this is a complete data? Right. And if you make decisions based on data, you have to rely on the integrity of data. And again, we, for example, someone will say, I mean, what we're doing right now, tunapostia michango, we're facilitating it, but are we looking at every other data point, and seeing how best we could utilize the data, right? In terms of, okay, how many contributions are made, but when do people actually contribute? Is it on the weekends? Is it on the, you know? So all these, again, this now I got from Bolt, how you utilize the data to make that. All right. So if I will move straight from the university, I will have the drive definitely to build an app. I will go push, all that, but I might have missed these things. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I would have gotten these skills on the way, but I'm just saying the way they were nurtured just through my experience really helped, added an advantage. So you could, I mean, if someone is at the university, whatever level, you could start from where you are, but don't discredit the value you will get from working from someone else or working to a different company. Don't discredit. So adds value. Yeah.
Remy, thank you so much. I think you have dropped some valuable, good insights, and we appreciate you so much. And so before I wrap up and just summarize based on my notes and what I've learned myself having a conversation with you, any final words to the Be Agile audience here?
All right. So basically use Chapaa if you have any campaign that you're doing. It has two.
Right.
It has a public campaign whereby kama unataka kuchangia, let's say schools, madawati, and everyone can be privy to, I mean, contributing to that campaign. Use Chapaa for that. But if you're doing your wedding, it's actually cool, send someone, just send someone a link, they click it, they actually see your picture, and then you contribute. Easy like that. Savings. We even have a corporate feature for, in the sense that, let's say, as IPF, you have multiple campaigns that you're doing, and you just want them to be an IPF umbrella. We also have that feature. So for you have, like, let's say for sports, maybe for something else, michango labda ya harusi, if something happens, that all can be combined into one space for your company as a whole. So again, guys, go out there, just do your thing, don't be scared. Just do your thing, just do it. There's a lot to explore, like I mentioned earlier on. There are a lot of things to digitize. Just so you know, almost 60% of Tanzanians are on that working age, so we're more mature youth market. So that means there's a lot to do with that. Again, I mean, the financial inclusion is quite growing. And again, we're thinking more, not just Tanzania. I've been specific to Tanzania because that's where we are doing our pilot. But again, we're already thinking to go out borders, more countries to come soon. Just saying, you start local, think global, right? That's how they say it. But again, get out there and do. Yeah.
Nice. How do people get Chapaa again? Just a walkthrough?
Yeah, just go to your App Store or Play Store and type Chapaa, just as you see it here, CHAPAA, and you'll see the app. Download it, do your registration, which is a few steps, and then you can already start creating a campaign. How to create a campaign, you can go to our Instagram page, which again is just Chapaa, and then we have a lot of how-to videos on the page too. But again, also within the app, you can chat with us and we can support you and walk you through on how to do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, as a Tanzanian, we have that important question. How much does it cost to use Chapaa?
Well, as of now, zero.
Zero?
As of now, it's zero. So as of now, we are letting people use the app. Like I said, we are better phase. Let's just use the app, understand what the issue is. Because again, people pay for value. And if you don't know what value you get from anything else, you won't pay for it. So for now, it's free. Anyone you can get. If someone contributes 10,000, you're going to get 10,000 out of Chapaa wallet. You'll get 10,000, but a full updated report. So you don't really have to go to kwenda kusoma simu and kuweka mkeka, the ticks, family. You don't have to do that. You just, because that is all embedded in the app. You just link, they contribute, you download the report, that's it. And you can even give access for accountability purposes. You can give people access to that campaign so they can also just see it through the app, moja kwa moja. So it's zero for now. For now.
Nice. I have a follow-up question into that and I'm going to get in trouble here with my producers at Be Agile because like time. But I think it's really important. You talk about it. You offer Chapaa for free now.
Yes. Yes.
Now, most innovators and creators, like beginners and like what's trying to start building solutions, they first think of like when can I get my dollars back? When can I get my shillings I've invested back quickly? And I believe that is a topic we can get to unlock much into later. But tell me just a little bit, like
Well, just
the audacity
of doing that, right?
of doing that. You have invested this how many years? 2, 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of money got into that, and all the failures and challenges building the product. And now you have the MVP out, offering it for free.
So
Just
again,
a little bit.
it's a just different school as a school of thought. Some will think like, if get a product that gives you money right on the spot. And again, this works for products that people are already using and whatnot. They're not culture based, right? So if something has to do with culture and changing people's way of life, then you definitely have to use a different approach. And that's what we're using. It's a different approach based on the type of niche that we are trying to walk through. But again, something else, we believe in the product, and it's something that we believe in the value that it creates. So we're not worried giving it for free for now, because we know some of them might not know the value that they are missing by not using Chapaa. So why not let them use it and see the value out of it? So it pretty much depends with the type of product that you're doing. And again, part of this also, the thinking came from my previous job. So the importance of leveraging knowledge that you get. So again, like I said, depends with the type of product.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome. Guys, that is Remmy for you. That is Remmy from Bolt. Did I just say that?
No. That's Remmy from Chapaa.
That is Remmy from Chapaa. Scratch that. That is Remmy from Chapaa. Like that Remmy from Bolt was just getting in my head. Like
I know.
It was so much of it. Every emails. But wait, this is Remmy from Chapaa, guys. And just to summarize what he shared quickly here, Remmy, he said, fall in love with your product. You can fall in love with your product and forget about solving the problem. Was that right? Did I get that right? Yes. And it's important to check on your co-founders and get to align with people who you share the same values and you can communicate smoothly with. Start with what you have. Start with what you have, and that's how they build Chapaa. You need to read as a non-technical founder, you need to read, educate yourself, use every material out there. There's YouTube and everything. You can be able to learn, educate yourself, at least the foundation of it, be able to educate yourself. It's always about the people you are building for. Also, he said, you need to make decisions based on data. And Remmy, he has been an auditor before. So when he speaks about data, he really means data. So make decisions based on data, and people pay for value. This for me, this is more powerful. People pay for value. So not just building a solution, and you need to get back what you invested quickly. Make sure you have offered the value that is key. I asked Remy a question. What are the 3 things that he learned working with a company, both in his previous other jobs, like working with PwC? He said, speed, getting to the market quickly. Having a team can help you reduce the amount of stress and make. He shared an example how they quickly started with Bolt border, like I was stating about that, but they just got to start. So that is it. And if you found these lessons from Remmy, please share it. You know what to do. Like share with people everywhere on YouTube, subscribe, share with people that will be able to get value out of this. And that's a wrap. This is Be Agile with Remmy from Chapaa. Thank you, Remmy.
All right, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Cheers.